What's up, y'all? Winnie here, and welcome back to the SP Foundation Wiki. Today we're going to be checking out whatever Karmic Musth is. I think I had saved it as Karmic Mush, but it's Musth. I don't know. Also, as you can see, since the last time I've been in here, the SCP Wiki now has banner ads that you can't click out of. So that's fun. Fun's not the word I want to use, but it's too early in the video to be not like that. So, it's Euclid. Under normal conditions, SCP-1495 is to be cared for and fed in keeping with the Foundation's zoological containment standards for large terrestrial mammals at a purpose-built enclosure on Site Blank. Anyone assigned to 2 through 15 is permitted to use their informal names for the sake of simplified communication. No guard dogs or other domesticated animals are allowed on the enclosure. On or in? I feel like in is the word you want. With the exception of small rodents, any local mammalian fauna discovered in the enclosure is to be removed or terminated upon discovery. Unless they are to be utilized for approved testing, disposable dudes assigned to interacting with 1495 must not be known or assumed violent felons. Disposable dudes used in M1 testing are not subject to this criteria, however, their background must be documented prior to testing. Members of the herd 1495 are free to roam the enclosure. If additional female specimens are discovered in the wild, they are to be captured and may be incorporated into the herd at Site Blank. Should a male be discovered in the wild, it is to be recorded and studied, but terminated no later than August 15th of that year to prevent an uncontained instance of M. If a male is discovered during an M event, it is to be terminated immediately. Prior to an M event, males are to be fitted with cranial shunts with reservoirs for collection of M1. The entire enclosure is to be checked to make sure no local fauna have entered the containment area. During an M event, 2, 3, and 4 are to be kept chained in 3 standalone climate-controlled steel cages at the far end of the enclosure. These cages are surrounded by a 5-meter-high wall made of 1.5-meter thick reinforced concrete. 2, 3, and 4 are to be placed in separate stalls at all times during M. No food or water or drugs will be provided to 2, 3, and 4 while in this type of confinement to help shorten 1495 M. Alright, description. SCP-1495 is a herd of a previously unknown species of elephant similar in appearance to Loxodonta africana, so I guess just African elephants. The herd consists of 3 males, 2, 3, and 4, and currently 8 females, 1495, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, and 15. All are observed to be extremely high intelligence, with craniums roughly 10% larger than the Loxodonta africana. They are generally obedient with their handlers. Subjects respond to human speech. Older subjects understand over 1,000 English words. Efforts are underway to achieve meaningful communication with 1495. For the most part, the female subjects are physiologically identical to African elephants, save for their larger cranium, heightened intelligence, and longer lifespan, believed to be 75 to 85 years. Recent testing has shown females have a greater capacity to communicate with their handlers, see Addendum A4. Generally, males are also virtually identical to African elephants, yet there are a few other notable distinctions. Upon reaching sexual maturity, male 1495 become particularly resilient, healing from injury at accelerated levels. At this point, they also seem to stop aging. Researchers have been unable to estimate ages for the 3 males. Most notably, males have been observed to direct the behavior of other mammals, seemingly willing animals, to work cooperatively or coordinate attacks, see addenda. SCP-1495-M. Oh, the addendums have drop-downs. This is going to be a rough one, isn't it? Also, I see the scroll bar passed over the unskippable banner ad. Oh, those are baked in there, huh? Once a year, usually in mid-autumn, which is roughly now, actually, males experience M, a state similar to the period of hormonal abnormalities experienced by male elephants known as musth. Like normal musth, M is accompanied by highly aggressive behavior and a thick tar-like temporal secretion called temporin. It is temporin excreted by 1495 is documented as M1, as opposed to the other M1 that some people who watch my channel might be aware of somehow. Males are to be isolated because the scent of M1 has a compounding aggression effect on most animals that can last several hours after they are removed from the vicinity of M events. Does that also... okay. I was about to question it, but it looks like it's about to explain. Testing conducted by Dr. Ladd found that M1 induces aggressive behavior in several orders of mammal, though tests have shown no effect on primates. To humans, M1 has a pleasant scent that appears to be hypoallergenic. When M1 was injected in disposable dudes, it appeared to rapidly cure ailments, but most ultimately experienced heart failure and expired in about 2 hours. The lone exception was D190777, who remains under observation. See Addendum A3. M1 contains compounds similar to a certain unknown chemicals found in SCP-500. Further testing on these substances is pending approval. Note by Dr. Ladd. When xylazine was used in an attempt to lessen the effects of M1 secretions lack these qualities, but effects on other mammals remain unchanged. Alright, let's see their addendums. Timeline on recovery and initial containment breach. Yeah, this is going to be a longer one. Okay, so we're starting in October 1979. I'm not going to continue reading the dates. So, the coordinates indicated a location in Singalila National Park, India. Foundation personnel immediately dispatched from Bombay. The scout arrives in Darjeeling, West Bengal province. Base camp is set up, local guides and appropriate gear acquired. Foundation's personnel set off on foot in a heavy snowstorm. 2 local Sherpas accompany them. Snowing in November? Wow, it really was a different time. Upon reaching the coordinates, the team was surprised to discover a small herd of African elephants, 4 male, 6 female. Specialized observation team requested for further evaluation. Observation team arrives, all 10 elephants are tagged. The subjects are noted to be of superior intelligence, unusual interaction with other species noted. Though the herd displays no outwardly anomalous traits, their high intelligence, unusual habitat, and the nature of their discovery lead the observation team to request containment of the entire herd. Then the herd was airlifted to Site Blank and classified as anomalous/cryptid. Construction purpose built zoological enclosure completed, herd transferred from temporary containment. The first documented incident of males interacting directly with local fauna. Early signs of musth prompt handlers to chain all 4 males to mature trees within the enclosure. The conditions worsen, xylazine administered by handles to attempt to lessen the effects. Unusual gatherings of white-tailed deer noted in the tree line near where the males are chained. No count was taken, but it is estimated between 75 and 150 deer had gathered. All 4 males broke out of their ligatures, breached the enclosure, and began attacking automobiles parked on Site Blank. While security teams were scrambled to contain the breach, scores of white-tailed deer stormed the disposable barracks, killing 107 of the 120 disposable dudes. Agent Gareth Marlowe was also killed. Note, it was later determined noteworthy that Agent Marlowe had been under investigation by the Ethics Committee for conduct unbecoming of a Foundation agent. Heavy sedation was used to secure the males. The oldest male, known as Ganesh by handlers, died of heart failure after taking 8 times the normal dose of tranquilizers normally required to sedate an adult male elephant. Dr. Ladd suggests that not only was there a connection between the elephants and the deer attack, but that the elephants had coordinated the containment breach to help facilitate the attack. Dr. Ladd requests the entire herd be reclassified as a Euclid class. Okay, let me shrink that so that the page doesn't get too long. Addendum 2. Notes on attacks in and around Darjeeling. 1495 was discovered independently by the Foundation in 1979. It is noteworthy that the species most closely resembles the African elephant, but they were discovered in eastern India, thousands of miles from the historical range of the African elephant. After full containment, the Foundation conducted an investigation of unusual events in the Darjeeling district of West Bengal Province, India, and surrounding areas. Reports of unusual early autumn animal attacks began in 1972 and occurred every year until containment in November 79. Each of the attacks occurred during what researchers have generally accepted to be times of year consistent with M. Packs of local fauna, sometimes multiple species, would attack and kill people in Darjeeling, Sikkim, and eastern Nepal. Generally, victims were attacked in and around their homes. In virtually every case, it appears that the animals target a specific individual or individuals, while ignoring or passing over other individuals nearby. Attacks varied by species and location, but in most attacks it appears that the animals attack joint tendons first to incapacitate the victim, in order to lengthen the amount of time the victim was alive during the attack. No discernible pattern was detected among the victims until the Foundation learned of a particularly large attack in 1978 at a Darjeeling prison, in which 18 inmates and 1 guard were killed by a pack of leopard cats and red pandas. All deceased inmates were either convicted murderers or rapists, and the deceased guard had been known for sexual abuse against inmates. Imprisoned political dissidents and beggars were not attacked. So it seems like when they're not undergoing musth, the elephants are kind of being vigilantes? The case of D190777. During initial testing of M1, 10 disposable dudes have been injected intravenously with the substance. In each case, they reported increased energy and feelings of overall improved health, but 9 of them had heart failure within 120 minutes of receiving the treatment. The lone exception was 777, the 8th test subject. At the time of testing, I'm going to say 19, had been experiencing symptoms of bronchitis. Once injected with M1, the symptoms rapidly began to dissipate. 6 hours after observation, 19 showed no signs of circulatory distress and was determined to have survived the trial. After 2 more tests, subjects expired in the same manner as the first 7. 19 was brought out of observation for an interview. And they're being interviewed by Agent DC Joachim. Forward, excerpt from the log starting 4.5 minutes to the interview. Thank you. Now, state for the record the changes that ultimately led to your death sentence in the state of blank. Double homicide, but I'm telling you I didn't do it. I love my wife and son. You appealed your conviction 3 times and failed. Fuck blank. Fuck the racist ass lawyers and the racist ass judges. I volunteered to take a polygraph and it never happened. I volunteered during each appeal. The people that killed my family are still out there. The bullets that they took out of my wife and son were lost in evidence. They never found my slugs. I was shooting towards the field. I doubt they ever even looked. Agent Joachim recommends that we be open to the possibility that 19 was wrongfully convicted by the state of blank and has never committed a murder. This, combined with the targeted animal attacks in India in 1979, see Addendum A2, has led to the hypothesis that M1 and animals affected by M1 react with chemicals in the human brain associated with guilt. Prior to further testing, however, that hypothesis was disproved upon review of 2 previously disposable dudes who expired after receiving doses of M1. Though also convicted murderers, both of these subjects exhibit sociopathic personality traits and were therefore physiologically incapable of experiencing guilt or shame. An 11th test was done on a disposable dude who had been sentenced to death for murder, but he had received Class A long-term memory amnestics and was completely unaware of his crimes at the time of testing. He expired in the same manner as the other 9 test subjects. At this time, it is unknown if M1 itself is sentient or sapient, but it appears to possess the ability to identify those guilty of various crimes, such as murder and sexual assault. Testing is pending for effects on various types of crimes to determine if there is a criminal threshold for whom M1 kills. Note from O5 blank, such testing will be very difficult as we have a finite number of disposable dudes who are not murderers or rapists. A5. Addendum A4, but it's interviewing 5. One of the elephants? After Dr. Ladd's communication techniques with the females were were deemed suitably successful, Site Command requested he conduct an interview with the oldest female to gain further insight into the nature, capabilities, and motives of 1495. 5 has a 2,000-word English vocabulary and a rudimentary grasp of spelling. Responses were written by 5 with her trunk on a large chalkboard. Dr. Ladd addresses 5 as Panka, the Hindi word for 5. This is the name used by the daily handlers. The handlers were assigned unique names for the sake of communication with individual subjects. Good morning, Panka. Hi, Ladd. Panka, I'll be asking you questions. Answer them as best you can. Do you understand? Panka nods. Thank you, Panka. Can you talk to other animals besides people? Not me. Another one nods yes. Is it the males? Gestures to indicate that she does not understand. Is it Balthazar, Melchior, or Gaspar? The handler's names for 2, 3, and 4. Nods yes. All 3 can talk to other animals. Nods yes. Panka, what do Balthazar, Melchior, and Gaspar tell the animals to do? Good. Do they ever tell the animals to kill people? Nods. Who do they want to kill? No want. Who do Balthazar, Melchior, and Gaspar tell the animals to kill? With Papa. Papa is not a word that has been taught to any of them. With father? No, with Papa. Panka, why do they tell the animals to kill? Balance. Most likely balance. Balance? Nods yes. Panka, what is Papa? Bad. Papa is bad? No response. Panka, tell me about Papa. No more, lad. Places the chalk at the feet of Dr. Ladd and walks out of the enclosure. It was later determined that Papa may have been meant to be the Hindi word Papa, which roughly translates as sin or misdeed. So it looks like the reason it's called Karmic Musth is because it's not so much that they're, like... It was phrased as though it was them going into heat because sexual maturity, but it sounds like what's actually happening here is once they reach sexual maturity and stop aging, then the brain thing functionally turns them into vigilantes. Is the best way I can think to describe it. Because that seems to be what's happening. Because, like it says, when they injected the stuff into the people, the only guy that it didn't kill was the only one of the disposable dudes that was actually innocent of what he had been convicted for. So, it can tell on a chemical level whether or not the people should be getting got. And it seems to be the chemical itself, not necessarily the elephants, which would imply that it was given to these elephants by something or someone. But it doesn't say that this is attached to any other entries, so I guess that's going to do it for this entry. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you didn't, don't. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads, and I'll see y'all in the next one.